Welcome to the YouAreCelestial podcast. I am your host, astrologer and soul-centered guide, Lumi Pelinku. This is where astrology becomes a mirror, helping you remember your worth and restore the light within as life moves. And I wanted to first of all say Happy New Year. I can't believe we are crossing to the threshold of 2026. What a powerful year that we're going to be having. And to kick it off, I have seen the transits of this week. It's fantastic because there's a lot of inflow of Capricorn and Cancer energy. The overall emotional theme of this week will be rebuilding from a space of tenderness and not pressure. And the way that people will feel on a broad spectrum of this week, the week of January 4th, the body's going to feel a little heavier than usual. And of course, you can expect that because for Capricorn season alone, because Capricorn's all about building up, building structures, crossing the thresholds of success, and really making ends meet with deadlines and everything like that. I want to just help you understand that the nature of these transits are just meant to help you become much more mindful of these things. It's not meant for you to feel subjected to experiencing these things for the long run and to expect yourself to actually feel these things. Astrology is meant to help you become much more reflective and mindful of as these transits move along with us. We're meant to ride along with it. We are meant to understand and process things in order for us to be more composed whenever we are facing challenges. So, at a broad view of the week, January 4th, body may feel a little bit heavier. It's best for you to just prioritize more rest or containment and not be subjecting yourself to energy leakage of any of sorts. In other words, like if you're feeling you need to really have this pressure to perform and cross all of those things off your check-off list, become much more reflective. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the opposite sign of Capricorn is Cancer. Cancer is about restoring the harmony within self, honing in on our sensitivity, and becoming much more reflective of these things. So, engaging more with the heart and the emotions will help you feel much more stabilized during this week. So, the heart and emotions will feel more tender, and through the emotional spectrum of things, maybe reflecting back and aware of the old losses that you experienced last year, and also understanding what was unmet in terms of your needs. So the best course of action is just to start becoming more discerning whenever you are experiencing these things and holding more grace in terms of why you've experienced these things, because the nature of life itself, whenever things don't work in alignment with your expectations and all those things, you are being divinely protected at this moment here. I'll have to say that the one thing that we are going to be expecting in terms of relationships, we're going to start noticing where effort has outweighed our emotional safety. So you can't try so hard, like when it comes to making ends meet. This is a week that asks you to honor your sensitivity as a source of strength while you rebuild your life with intention. And what a great way to begin 2026 with this kind of pellet. Let's talk about how this week will carry its conversation through our souls, our mindsets, our psyches, and as such. So this week carries a conversation between Capricorn and Cancer, between who you're becoming in the world and what you need emotionally to feel safe as you become your best version. You may feel aware of what you lost or what didn't work out or how long certain things have taken. I want you to understand that as your emotions are rising up to the surface, note that there is nothing wrong with you. It's not weakness. It's actually a sense of awareness whenever you are feeling these things, because the nature of this transit's coming up, it's inviting you to see emotional sensitivity as beauty and grace, even in the midst of your setbacks. I want you to take a look back and see this as a form of divine intervention. These delays are grace, and have patience when it comes to what you're feeling about yourself and where you're going. We'll talk about how to stay grounded and self-honoring as this energy unfolds. So before we go deeper, I want to invite you to my celestial email circle. If you love receiving this kind of content guidance, I share bi-monthly horoscopes for each sign, insights, rituals, and intuitive prompts straight to your inbox. It's slower, it's a more intimate space where I can support you beyond this podcast. And you can sign up at the link in the show notes, and I'd love to have you there. So let's take a deep dive. On Thursday, January 9th, the Sun conjuncts Mars in Capricorn, and Venus also opposes Jupiter in Cancer. And on Friday, Sun opposes Jupiter, and Mars opposes Jupiter. And that's between the Capricorn and Cancer axis. And we're going to explain more in terms of what to expect and how to find yourself grounded in these transits. So as we meet the beginning of this week, the Sun and Venus aren't aligned in the sign of Capricorn. This will highlight themes of value, effort, self-respect, and how we relate in this world. Venus is all about how we cultivate the inner love and understanding for the self, how we rebuild our own sense of self-worth, and also how we are navigating through our lives when it comes to our values. So as the sun is shining its light with Venus, it will help us become much more aware of our personal boundaries and the way we establish our own stance in this world. You will feel more emotionally questioning whether your efforts are being seen or reciprocated. And you'll also begin to reflect on where you've tied your worth to productivity or milestones. So if you're feeling like a little bit challenged this week, especially around this transit, I'd like to pivot you back into this moment to help you understand that you don't need to have all the answers once this transit comes through. This is actually the starting moment for you to understand where you're heading to when it comes to your goals. Here's one way to work with this energy. Notice where you've been trying to earn love, stability, or this belonging by being strong, reliable, or having it together. So this transit isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to recognize your value without overfunctioning. You might gently ask yourself, where have I been measuring myself instead of honoring myself? And as you go through careful reflection regarding these matters, this will help you ground down to this transit. Now, for the last half of this week, we have this whole cluster of planets opposing Jupiter in Cancer. This is really auspicious times because as Capricorn planets oppose Jupiter in Cancer, there's a pull between external responsibility and internal emotional safety. You'll feel much more torn between pushing forward and wanting to retreat inward. Seems like a little paradoxical in a sense, but it will help you understand the need for safety and reassurance or emotional grounding in response to this transit. So as Capricorn planets, such as Mars, the Sun, and Venus opposing Jupiter this week, you'll feel a pull between external responsibility and internal emotional safety. It feels like a torn between pushing forward and wanting to retreat backward. The retreating backward is this Cancer energy where you'll feel much more inclined to observe your internal self in order for you to rebuild the sense of self as you move forward in your journey. So you'll feel much more of this desire for safety, reassurance, or emotional grounding. And as you're like starting to reflect and also connect with this kind of energy, the Jupiter and Cancer energy is asking a quiet but radical question, such as what actually makes you feel safe inside yourself? And in order to honor this energy, try not to be so productive. This week reminds us that rebuilding takes time and steady connections aren't rushed. And emotional integrity is just as important as ambition. So allow yourself to move at a pace that honors what you lived, not what you think you should be over by now. It's okay to reflect. I would like to draw an oracle card just to sum up as to what we covered for this week, and also to provide us advice as to how we can work best with these energies. So we got the fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Beautiful energy, because I remember I pulled this card 2 months ago when we just opened up the podcast episode. This is such synchronicity and I love it. So the message here is for you to start reflecting on the inner voice more. Also, to be mindful as to how you view yourself or your situation around you. Become much more gentle and understanding as to where you are in your journey. I want you to take a look at this card also if you're looking at the video version and just look at where the blue is positioned in this image. You'll see the blue energies around the throat area. It has to do with the way we are communicating our ideas and also in how we view ourselves. So it's basically along the lines of how you think of yourself. How are you processing this information and digesting? And if you feel like you have been having a hard time processing of how you are in your journey, this is a reminder for you to start becoming more graceful in terms of how you are living this life in this path. It's okay to not have all the answers because Gabriel's reminder for you is to hold grace and composure in terms of how you are living in this life. And I want you to start becoming more gentle because the theme of this message is gentle strength grows what lasts. And also, you have to become more reflective as to your life and it's the way it's playing out. It's a reminder that you have the power in yourself to rewire how your script is playing out, if you will, and the way you are walking this path. You can always change. You can always step out and not settle anymore. This reminder, see how there's a horn in Gabriel's hand? It's a message. It's also sounding the alarm for you to take note as to what your intuition is trying to tell you. So I would definitely recommend for you to start journaling your feelings. And journaling is not to say it's the cure all to everything, but it's also helping you clear out your mind and also becoming more aware of your mental patterns. So jotting everything down will help you get it out. And as you do put it on paper, it helps you see your life differently. And it also helps you be more mindful as to how you're living too. So track yourself. Track yourself starting in the new year. What perfect time to do this, right? So with this message, I want you to place your hand on your heart and one on your belly. And if you're driving, you do not do this, just observe, okay? Take a slow breath and ask. Take a slow breath and ask yourself, what would it feel like to build my life with both structure, softness, and understanding this week? Allow any idea, image, impression, whatever comes through to you, that's the answer. Don't question. And allow the blue color from the skies above. Imagine it washing all over you. Clearing out your throat chakra, clearing out your mind, clearing out your body. Allow it to just wash away any areas of doubt or expectations. Just allow it to just wash it all away. Thank you. Now, here's one closing thought. Just remember that with all of this Capricorn energy and the week alone, it's just like you don't need to harden to be strong and you don't need to rush your becoming. You don't need to rush your process. Remember that everything takes time as long as you're aligned with your soul self. This week invites you to allow emotional honesty to guide your rebuilding and to trust what lasts is grown with care. If this episode resonated, make sure to subscribe to the show and share it with a friend who loves astrology. And if you want more specific astrology for your sign up for my celestial email list. And I go deeper with the horoscopes, insights, rituals, and intuitive prompts to straight to your inbox. So you can sign up at the link in the show notes below. And I want to close this episode to help you be reminded that whenever you feel lost or unsure of your path, remember that you will always be guided back to your inner light, one insight at a time, because you are celestial. Have a good one, and I will see you next week.